If I had two words to describe Dolley Madison, they would be vivacious and cunning. She was very much the center of attention, the life of any room, and at the same time, she knew exactly what she was doing at all times.
She's a very attractive woman. She's slender, she has jet black hair and blue eyes. James Madison sees her and apparently falls in love, in lust, in whatever over her. He's small, pedantic, not the life of a party. It's a remarkable marriage of opposites attract.
Dolley Madison was a legendary entertainer, but in a subtle way, that kind of entertaining was also really deeply about politics.
Dolley carefully constructs these invitations to these dinner parties to get people on board to the policies that James Madison wanted to put forward and to whip Republicans into line to support him. She introduced the idea that the First Lady could be a political matchmaker, and she was extremely skilled at it.
She was such a gracious hostess and was so involved in politics that one of her husband, James Madison's opponents, said it was really unfair that he had to run against both Madisons.
Dolley really did what she could to sort of position herself and her husband in the best possible light, and she succeeded.
Dolley Madison was probably best known for saving the portrait of George Washington during the War of 1812.
The British Army was marching right into the city. There was the danger of being killed. She stayed in that White House much longer than she should have to protect it.
She actually instructed the servants to fill the carriages that they were going to take away from the White House with government papers, notes from the Continental Congress, things that were important to the nation.
As she's leaving, she realizes that the portrait of George Washington, which Dolley always understood the national symbolism of, was still in the White House. And they roll it up and they carry it to safety.
She wanted to make sure that the government papers were preserved in addition to George Washington's portrait, which hangs in the White House to this very day.
She knew that these things were the stuff that we build our sense of a nation around.
Dolley Madison was really a force to be reckoned with in her own right. She was so influential as First Lady that for decades after she left office, she was still considered politically powerful and important in Washington. She was the only First Lady to be granted an honorary seat in Congress.
She lived in a home across the street from the White House, and it was very common for visitors and dignitaries, anytime they went to visit the President of the United States, they in turn went over to visit Dolley Madison as well.
She lives quite a long life. She doesn't die until 1849. When she dies, there is a huge funeral.
Zachary Taylor eulogized her as the First Lady of the nation. That was actually one of the first times in history that that term, First Lady, was used.